I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm caught in the middle of love, and I need.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your host, Rashid, and I'd like to thank you for joining me for another day of the most powerful, the most popular, and the hardest-hitting platform on YouTube and Rumble and any other platform. This is the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your host, Rashid. As we wait for Bart to join us, I want to just take the time out right now to thank each and every one of you for supporting the channel, whether it's through word of mouth, or whether it's through Patreon or donations or whatever, or whether it's through channel membership. I just want to take the time out right now to say that I see you, I acknowledge you, and I really, really appreciate each and every one of you for whatever you've done to keep the platform going. Also, remember, always check your subscriptions, because a lot of my subscribers continue to get unsubscribed without even knowing. And the notifications, please check and go to find out whether you're getting your notifications or whatever, because they're playing this trick game. I just hit Bart Sibrel up, let him know that we're live, so we're gonna have to wait for him to join us on the platform now. And I have a couple questions for him also. But before we go to that, let's check out a little news. You know, we can do that until we wait for him, because today we'll be talking about, as soon as he joins us, we'll be talking about the moon landing, because this man has talked over the years about how he believed that the moon landing was faked, and how he was passed on some information about whether or not the moon landing was fake, or whether or not the people who were involved were killed or sworn to secrecy or whatever like that. And I just can't wait to hear his take on the ongoing situation. So give me 1 second. Let me see something. Let me see if he's gotten it. All right. Oh, yeah, he's gotten it. Give him a few minutes. So everybody don't get impatient, but I want to play a few things, okay, until he joins us. Let me get to this clip, because I'm going to replay this, because I want to ask him about these situations. These are short clips. Let's go to this first one here, about the moon landing, okay? Because this is crazy right here.
Years ago, I was up here, and I said...
Hold on 1 second. Wrong clip. Hold on. Here it is right here.
If the moon landing truly happened, how did they get the pictures? Plus, printed on the newspaper the next day. The moon landing happened on July 20th, 1969. Yet, high-quality photos were already printed in newspapers the very next morning. No internet, no cloud drive, no lightning-speed data transfer. They claim signals traveled 240,000 miles instantly, while today we struggle to send a large file across town. And those photos, perfectly framed, crisp, clean, no dust, no blur, no shaky hands inside thick space gloves. Imagine a football stadium filled with fog. Now imagine taking a crystal clear photo through it. That's what the moon's dusty surface should have done to the lens. What if the story was prepared on Earth before the world even saw it? Try this. Just pause any moon landing photo and instead imagine a slow glide across an empty theater stage with fog drifting and lights hanging above. The atmosphere matches too well. Even NASA later said they lost the original tapes. Lost? That's like losing the first heartbeat of mankind. And after that, silence. No ultra-high definition repeat mission. No modern remake. Just one perfect show in 1969. If tech was real, then shouldn't it be easier now? Yet rocket launches today often cut to wide shots of clouds. Ever notice that? Picture a time lapse of paint brushing across a canvas. That's how fast the narrative arrived. New angles, no delay, just instant history. Movie directors take months to edit scenes, but the moon landing was ready overnight. Maybe space isn't far away. Maybe the story was always closer than we think.
So that's one of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention. And I'm not saying that whether it was faked or not, but why is it that they haven't, if they've been to the moon, they haven't gone back, especially since they said that they've had the technology. And if we look at the things that these people bring up excellent points on whether or not the moon landing was fake, because it's just too convenient. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring up a little clip that's going to hit you. So I hope Bart joins us in a second or whatever. I'll hit him up again. Sometimes people's schedules get messed up a little bit, especially when the time zone. But hopefully he'll join us in a few minutes. But let me play this clip for you guys, because this guy, and pardon the language on here, but this guy makes a whole bunch of pertinent points. Okay, here, and this is just, I guess, an average guy talking about the situation. I want you to listen to this real quick.
Bullshit, because everyone's telling you I was fucking wrong.
Showed me.
Yeah, so fucking explain to me. Here you go. The guy's getting off the rocket ship. Who the fuck is filming him? Who's filming him?
A guy?
How'd the fucking guy get up there if this is the first guy supposed to be on the fucking moon? A different rocket ship?
I don't know.
So they sent the rocket ship up there. He got off and he's like, all right, come on up now. I'm ready to fucking film. Are you fucking serious?
Rocket ship?
He's supposed to be the first guy on the moon. It's bullshit. The car. How the fuck did the car fit in that rocket ship? Look, how did that car fit in the rocket ship?
I don't know.
Okay, right. More bullshit. Then the guy's floating around with a big fucking cord to his stomach, and they're telling you that's his fucking, life support. Was it fucking feeding him through the fucking tube like a baby? They fucking get bouncing around like a fucking jerk off. Yeah, watch. Let me show you. There it goes. Bye-bye. You know what? I'm going to stay behind. You guys go back to Earth. I'll fucking die up here. And how the fuck did he get the film back to Earth? Yeah, look, the fake fucking parachute. Hey, we're home now. What happened to the guy back on the moon? They just left him?
I guess so.
Yeah, everyone guesses they don't have any fucking facts. Bullshit.
Didn't he bring up some points? Huh? Didn't he bring up some good points? I want to bring something up to you guys, all right? Let's see. I'm going to bring something up on the screen till Mark gets here, okay? Hold on 1 second. Let me share the screen with you. Let me go to share screen. NASA. I want to show you something, okay?
The moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But
so he says that they would go back to the moon in a heartbeat, but they lost that technology. They destroyed that technology, right? That's absolutely insane, right? That's absolutely insane. I hope Bart hurries up and joins us, because I do want to talk on this stuff. I want to get his perspective on these clips here, because that is something absolutely insane. And I'm trying to get short clips for you, okay? Hold on 1 second, everybody. Let's see. So there's a radiation belt around the moon, okay? Let me bring this off the screen real quick. There's a radiation belt around the moon. Well, from between Earth and the moon. And this radiation belt, NASA even talked about, they can't get through this radiation belt. They're trying to find a way through the radiation belt. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking to you guys, let me see if I can bring that up. Let me see if I can get it real quick. NASA said they need to find out how to get through the radiation belt to get to. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out if I can pull this up real quick for you guys. because it's amazing. I actually saw this myself. And it blew my mind because I was like, hold on, what? You have to find a way through the radiation belt. And then you have to go through that radiation belt to get to the moon. And how many times did they say they went to the moon? 9, 10, 11, 12 times? Apollo this, Apollo that, Apollo this. And now I want you to think about this. Even if Bart is late, or even if Bart doesn't show up today, and he just so happened to say he made him his schedule got messed up, and we redo the show. Okay, I just want you to think about this. How many of you do believe this? This is what gives legs to the people who say that the U.S. didn't go to the moon. Remember that Russia had Sputnik, or whichever you want, and so America was behind in the technology. Okay. And so America had to do something to prove that she was the superpower, because Russia had the first satellite in space, the first so-called quote unquote man in space, right? Now, why would NASA destroy the technology, all the film and everything else, all the hard drives, everything, just destroy it, if they had the technology to go there, and it took billions of dollars to get that technology, that research and development of that technology? Why would you destroy it? You know what that would be like? America getting the nuclear bomb and then destroying all of its technology on how to do nuclear fission, nuclear explosions, nuclear technology, the nuclear fuel cycle, enrichment, and all of that stuff. Do you believe that they would just take that and destroy it, knowing that they had a competitor trying to get to the moon, which is in Russia, and now they're talking about a competitor in China? Do you believe that? With the billions of dollars spent in research and development, the R&D, NASA somehow just decided, hey, you know what? We're just going to, not only are we going to destroy the vehicles to get to the moon, not only are we going to do that, you know what else we're going to do? We're going to destroy all of the technology, which means all of the effort, the time, and the money that was invested in this. Do you know? Man, I'm telling you, it doesn't add up. That stuff doesn't add up to me. All right. So yes, let me see something. I'm trying to physics. Let's see. Let me try to pull up something. I don't want to pull up the longer clips because I'm waiting for Bart to join us. And I don't want to get right into the longer clips. Who was that? Tony Cunlin 9061. Shout out to you. Let me see. Come on, Bart. But yeah, and I'm not the professional in astro science, or I don't claim to be an expert in this, but these people raise questions. Think about what happened. Better technology today, more modern technology. They've discovered more things today, and it should be easier to go to the moon than it is now. And I want you to think about it. How did all of that equipment get up into that small rocket ship? The guy, I got to play this clip again. This guy makes a good point here. I mean, he's cursing, but he makes a great point here. Okay, we've got to hear him one more time.
Bullshit, because everyone's telling you I was fucking wrong.
Showed me.
Yeah, so fucking explain to me. Here you go. The guy's getting off the rocket ship. Who the fuck is filming him? Who's filming him?
A guy?
How'd the fucking guy get up there if this is the first guy supposed to be on the fucking moon? A different rocket ship?
I don't know.
So they sent the rocket ship up there. He got off and he's like, all right, come on up now. I'm ready to fucking film. Are you fucking serious?
The same rocket ship?
He's supposed to be the first guy on the moon. It's bullshit. The car. How the fuck did the that car fit in a rocket ship?
I don't know.
Okay, right. More bullshit. Then the guy's floating around with a big fucking cord to his stomach, and they're telling you that's his fucking, life support. Was it fucking feeding him through the fucking tube like a baby? They fucking get bouncing around like a fucking jerk off. Yeah, watch. Let me show you. There it goes. Bye-bye. You know what? I'm going to stay behind. You guys go back to Earth. I'll fucking die up here. And how the fuck did he get the film back to Earth? Yeah, look, the fake fucking parachute. Hey, we're home now. What happened to the guy back on the moon? They just left him?
I guess so.
Everyone guesses they don't have any fucking facts. Bullshit.
And also, remember, if you remember back then, Richard Nixon, sitting in the Oval Office, phoned the astronauts while they were in space on a landline. On a landline. Phoned and remember, the videos that they gave were not direct feeds from the so-called moon landing. They were not direct feeds. They were beamed off of something else. The reporters wanted to film direct feeds, right? Right? But NASA said no. Instead of giving them access to the direct feeds, NASA beamed the feeds off of something else. This is why you got the grainy pictures and stuff, because NASA refused to give the reporters a direct link and a direct access to viewing of the so-called landing. That's crazy, isn't it? That's absolutely crazy. Again, it blows my mind. It boggles the mind. That you telling me that you would take all of that time after finding that you've fallen behind the Russians in space technology, and the Russians put the first satellite up in space, and the Russians put the first man up in space, and then you're going to tell me that after you get the jump on the Russians, you destroy the technology, you destroy the space, excuse me, my lighting, excuse me 1 second. You destroy the space ships, you destroy the all of the what is it? The equipment, the suits, you destroy the paperwork, the film, everything. After sending people to the moon multiple times. And then I saw on some clips that Neil Armstrong and a few other astronauts, they were very, very angry with people when they asked them about did they go to the moon or not. And one of them wanted to fight other, and then one was caught on video, not audio, but video. When he was being interviewed by two people, one of the astronauts, I forget, I don't want to put it on the wrong one, was asking a question, and then the astronaut put him out of his house and told him to get out. And then you can hear the astronaut talking to his son, and you can see it because they left the camera in the audio and the camera because they were being forced out. They left one of those things in there. And you can hear this astronaut son saying, "You want us to have him whacked? Want me to call the CIA?" It's absolutely crazy. I bet you can pull it up on what I'm saying. Everything that I'm saying, you can pull it up on Google or DuckDuckGo or Bing or Yahoo or whatever search engine, Yandex or whatever search engine that you use. You can do it, and you can see it even on today's censored YouTube. It's absolutely insane that we would have that in today's. Now, the government line and both party lines is that America went to the moon. I'm not saying they didn't, but I'm saying a lot of stuff is not adding up. And I'm saying that if you did, why would you be so defensive about it? And why would you take such drastic steps that would hinder your progress decades later? You would take the very instruments that you use to get there and destroy all the blueprint. Just the blueprint. As if someone found a way to Mars, right? And they could get there in 3 days. And yet, after, quote unquote, going there 17 times or 16 times or 50, whatever, how many times, right? They come back, and decades later, they have even more advanced technology, but they destroyed the blueprint of how to get there. They destroyed the space shuttles. They destroyed the space suits. They destroyed all of the research and development. But you have better technology, which would have afforded you to go faster, more safer, but you can't do it. And now you talk about a radiation belt that stops you from getting to Mars? Well, what was that radiation belt when you went to the moon all of those other times? These are the questions that I have for Bart. I'm seeing if he's hitting me up. Hold on one second. Let me see if he's hitting me up. Let me text him real quick again. Hold on, everybody. Give me a second. I'm going to text him real quick. Let me see. Shout out to everybody who's joining us live and those who will join us later. Sometimes these things happen and sometimes we have to reschedule because of scheduling things. My guy, Faye Lewis in the building. Faye Lewis in the building. Silent Monkey 5 is in the building. And Silent Monkey 5 says, oh yeah, there was a clip where Buzz Aldrin punched. Yes. See, there was a clip where Buzz Aldrin was punching a reporter, questioning him about the moon landing. And then three of the so-called astronauts said that when they were in space, they couldn't see any stars. I'm not kidding you. Google it. 3 of the astronauts, and then you can see when they were being interviewed by the news channels, they were getting uneasy, and you would see one look at the other one, giving him shooting him what we say in street terms, shooting him a unit, like meaning, man, watch what you're saying. Be quiet. So, with that said, all of this stuff lends a lot of credence to the conspiracy, and it's not really a conspiracy. These are legitimate questions, right? Of whether or not the world was duped when America said that she went to the moon. And she not only said it, she went to the moon. Think about this, because people don't take the time to think about this. If it was easy for you to go up in a tin can, remember that they strapped what was essentially a tin can to a missile and shot it up into space. Remember that. What was essentially a tin can, they shot it up into space. And the guy that I played, he brought up some points that had never hit my mind. Well, and other points that he refreshed that I thought about decades ago. Well, how did all of this stuff get up here? If it was just one ship, and how did all of this stuff get, and why are the shadows different? Because mathematics and science says that they must be a certain way, but you see shadows different ways. You don't see dust kicking up. You don't see any true background. It's crazy. Shout out to Vera in the building. Vera's in the building. Let me see. My guy Joel Bradford is in the building. We're still waiting for Bart to join us, okay? Maybe time lapse or whatever, but I know we will have Colonel Larry Wilkerson on the platform in about 1 hour. So join us, and if Bart doesn't make it, he'll probably hit me up and tell me about his scheduling or whatever, and then we'll reschedule it if he does not come, because we always keep our words, and sometimes things come up. So that's why I don't get angry with certain guests, or I don't get frustrated and talk, because sometimes things happen. This is life. This is life. But that doesn't mean that you and I can't discuss these things until they come on or until we get things corrected. And I want to thank all of you for joining me, because you didn't have to. Okay. And we're not going off there, but I have to say it as I often say. Thank you for lending me your ear, giving me the conversation, feeding back and forth with me, putting things in the chat or whatever. Thank you, because you've decided to give me your time. What little time that we share together, that's precious, because time is the most precious commodity out there. Because once you use the time up, you can never get it back. So that's why I try to be straightforward with you guys. Not try to be, I am straightforward with you guys. And I want to give to you an equal or greater return for the time that you spent with me. Just like when you go to the store and you want a commodity or a product, you pay money, right? So right now you're paying time. And hopefully we can converse with each other as adults and come to some type of logical conclusions on these matters, whether Bart is with us or whether he's not with us. Okay. So Joel Bradford says, the same people who said we came from monkeys, fish got out of the ocean and grow legs and wings, are saying we landed on the moon. Pure BS. Yeah, absolutely. 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 Yeah. So it is, these questions are legitimate questions for anybody to ask. Where did all of the equipment come from? The rover, the lander, they had a car and everything. Where did all the cameras come from? Where did and why were they had to have cords and all? Man, this is great. And you're telling me that after doing all of that 16, 17 times, you decided, hey, that's enough. We have to jump on the entire world in this technology. Let's just destroy the technology, the resources, the vehicles, the blueprint, and let's just start over from scratch. Even though the technology is 20 and 30 and 40 times better than it was then. Back then, they didn't even have color television. They didn't have internet. And you're telling me that these things took place then, when they were decades upon decades upon decades behind in technology. But with this advanced technology where you can do pinpoint strikes from one territory to another territory using satellites and guidance systems, and you can track asteroids and land rovers on asteroids, and then you can send satellites to monitor and see what kind of atmosphere Pluto has. But you can't send humans back. If you sent them there, you can't send humans back on the closest object to Earth, which is the moon, which was once part of the Earth. Something's not gelling here, man. I'm telling you, something's not gelling. Yeah. These people have legitimate questions that need to be answered. It's just simple as that. It's simple as that. Let me see if I can pull up something real quick. Give me a second. Let me see something. Let me see if I can pull up something real quick. All right, this is a 4-minute. Let me pull up this one and see if this one is the one. Okay, give me a second. Let me put this on the screen real quick. So you'll see exactly what I'm doing. Donald M 7412 says, The same class created God and used religion to control people too, only not long ago. Same crap, different toilet. Ha ha ha! Boom. Mic drop moment. Boom. Let's see. Bart, where are you? Joel Bradford says, did you see the video where a NASA astronaut said they haven't figured out a way to get past? Yes, that's what I was looking for. That video right there. See, Joel even has seen the video where the NASA astronaut has stated that they don't know how to. They're trying to figure out how to get past the Van Allen belt. So, Van Allen belt or whatever you call it. But thinking about it, if they are trying to figure that out now and they have superior technology, right? Superior aircraft. They have missiles that can travel at hypersonic speed. Now, hypersonic, right? And you're telling me that you sent on a bottle rocket. Go if you think I'm lying, just go Google this stuff. What was essentially a bottle rocket, a bullet with a cap on top of it. They sent it into space, and this thing pinpointed the location of the moon. And not only, and here's something. If it took that rocket to blast off, to take them to the moon, and they had to have all of that infrastructure to launch that rocket. And I know we deal with different gravitational pulls or whatever, because the Earth gravitation is way stronger than the moon's gravitation. I understand that. But now let's dumb it down for me, okay? And dumb it down for some of you. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to dumb it down for me a little bit. There was no infrastructure on the planet, on the moon, to launch the aircraft. And when the aircraft launched, there was no huge dust clouds after that. And how could that aircraft navigate back to Earth, that little tin can, without the propulsion system that got them out of Earth? Because they got to re-enter Earth's atmosphere. So how could they do that off the moon without the infrastructure, or without a bigger or better propulsion system? Look, let me go back to something to prove a point to what I'm saying. Okay. Hold on. Let me replay that clip again. Not this one right here.
If the moon landing truly happened, how did they get the pictures? Plus, printed on the newspaper the next day. The moon landing happened on July 20th, 1969. Yet, high-quality photos were already printed in newspapers the very next morning. No internet, no cloud drive, no lightning-speed data transfer. They claim signals traveled 240,000 miles instantly, while today we struggle to send a large file across town. And those photos, perfectly framed, crisp, clean, no dust, no blur, no shaky hands inside thick space gloves. Imagine a football stadium filled with fog. Now imagine taking a crystal clear photo through it. That's what the moon's dusty surface should have done to the lens. What if the story was prepared on Earth before the world even saw it? Try this. Just pause any moon landing photo and instead imagine a slow glide across an empty theater stage with fog drifting and lights hanging above. The atmosphere matches too well. Even NASA later said they lost the original tapes. Lost? That's like losing the first heartbeat of mankind. And after that, silence. No ultra-high definition repeat mission. No modern remake. Just one perfect show in 1969. If tech was real, then shouldn't it be easier now? Yet rocket launches today often cut to wide shots of clouds. Ever notice that? Picture a time lapse of paint brushing across a canvas. That's how fast the narrative arrived. New angles, no delay, just instant history. Movie directors take months to edit scenes, but the moon landing was ready overnight. Maybe space isn't far away. Maybe the story was always closer than we think.
So maybe the story was always closer than what we think, okay? I tell you, I'm pulling up something for you guys. Hold on one second. I'm looking for something real quick. Let's see. So I put something in the search engine, okay, and this is an AI overview. And it says the keywords I put in was, and I'm not going to put it on the screen because I'm going to bring something else on the screen shortly. It says, why can't we go back to the moon? And this is the AI overview. We haven't returned to the moon primarily due to immense costs. Stop right there. So if the technology is greater today, then the cost should be smaller today, right? Because as technology advances, it means that the production is better quality, which should make the product a little cheaper, right? This is how economies work, right? You want to get the biggest bang for your bucks. It says, we haven't returned to the moon primarily due to immense costs. Okay, I hope you guys are still with me, right? Right, Feilu, right. I'm gonna have to put this up there right there. Costs, LOL. And Feilu, I see your other comment. I'm gonna read your comment before I finish reading this, what I put in the AI overview. So I'm giving you guys exactly what I'm putting into the search engine. I do that for a reason. Sometimes I don't put it up on the screen because I want people to do their own research. This is why I give you the exact words that I put in there. Because in society now, the West has made us lazy. We're the microwave age where we want it hot, fast, and right now. We don't want to take the time to go and cook and prepare a healthy meal for the family as it was once done in the 70s. I'm a kid of the 70s. In the 80s, we wanted to put it in a microwave, and we want it right now. We want it when we want it right now. So sometimes I do this on purpose to make you research it. I want you not to just take my word for it. I want you to research it so that you can come up with your own conclusion without being steered by me. Okay. Joel Brever says you got to hold a debate on this gravity nonsense too. Okay, let me go back to Feilu real quick and read what he put something up there. The belief of U.S. West is the most technologically advanced, most capable, has the most superior systems, is a religion. Absolutely, is a religion for many. Their world collapses if they don't believe it. Absolutely, it's a religion. You hear Trump says we have the biggest and the most powerful weapons, and then they don't have hypersonic weapons. And then he came right out and say China and Russia stole the technology, stole our weapons. Well, if they stole them, then you should be able to demonstrate that you have those weapons. And if they stole the plans, you should be far ahead of them. So you should demonstrate either a greater technological advances, right? I mean, this is common sense to me. What we need to do in everything we have conversations about is use common sense, because common sense is no longer common in today's theater of discussion. People go with emotions so much, and emotions can mislead you a lot of the time. Instead of sitting down having a true, honest discussion to come up with rational conclusions. All right. So if in the minds of the West, this is one reason what's driving the wars across the world, because America is losing the technological race. America is losing the political race. America and the West are losing the economic and the industrial race. And as long as they had the advantage, everything was cool. They could write history. They could tell you whatever they wanted to tell you. They could tell you these things. And the world had to accept it because they were the victors, and to the victor goes the spoils. And they were the ones who wrote the history that they wanted you to believe. But as time goes on and the playing field, economically, industrially, technologically, the gaps close, and in some cases reverse to the other side, the history that we were taught, we're seeing that a lot of it is nonsense. And it became a cult of religion for people to always believe that this was the exceptional nation. This nation believed in democracy. And you see them overthrow the most democratically elected president in the world, which was Maduro, according to the Carter Center, right? What did Jimmy Carter say? I'm paraphrasing. Out of almost 100 elections that we've monitored, Venezuela has the best, freest and fairest election and democratic system in the world. But Trump and everybody else dismisses that, and he's a tyrant, a dictator that is oppressing his people because it fits the Western narrative of supremacy. You understand? You're going to go against him in his electoral system and say he's not legitimate when people on the other half are saying that you're illegitimate. The same with Biden. When Biden was talking about the illegitimacy of other nations and people were questioning his legitimacy. The hypocrisy of the West. And it's only going to get more hypocritical and more belligerent as its power and influence declines. Okay? All of this has relations. I told you there are dots to everything. If it's economics, it ties to the industries. If it's industrial, it ties to technology. If it's technological, it ties to the military. If it ties to the military, guess what? NASA is not a private company like that. NASA is not a space go. You know, NASA is a top secret military component. Huh? Do you know that? They tell you, oh, we're just for the workings of humanity. Go look up NASA's mission. Go look up what NASA is. Go look it up. It's not for some benevolent, benign thing for humanity. It's to advance Americans' economic dominance, its technological dominance in space. So it can translate to America's global dominance. Okay? So if they've been feeding us lies on other things, why wouldn't they feed us lies on this? Region 9 says, space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Californication. Yeah. So Faylu says, absolutely, Rashid. And then Region 9 say, boom, boom, out go the lights. So you're telling me, listen. Let's look at this for a minute, okay? Common sense for a second. Do you know the ships that America said violated U.S. sanctions, as if all nations got to abide by U.S. law, right? Forget sovereignty. The hell with sovereignty. The U.S. said it, and the U.S. has a problem with it, so now everybody else must have a problem with this too. Or else we'll sanction you, and we'll use our military might to disrupt your economies too. So listen, do you remember those tankers that are being seized and have been seized by the U.S., right? How were they seized? They said that the United States, especially the ones that were headed towards Russia, around the coast of Scotland, right? They said the U.S. had been tracking those ships, right? And they sent a Coast Guard cutter ship after it, right? And then the United States sent some transported helicopters and special forces to its bases in England, right? Or in the UK. To track those ships, one was using what? Satellites. So you can track ships' movements on Earth. And you can track missile trajectory on Earth. And you can track meteors and comets movements that are approaching Earth. All right? But you cannot reconstitute 1960 technology to get to the moon? I'm asking. I'm just asking. Is that logical to you? In the day of modern advancement and technological prowess, you cannot replicate or duplicate 1960-some technology to get back to the moon. And you have more advanced aircraft. Listen to it. Look what took place from that time, from 69 and 70 to right now. We've moved into a hypersonic age. We have high-speed railing, trains, right? We have hypersonic missiles that go past speeds of Mach 10. That's 10 times the speed of sound. We have anti-ballistic missile systems that are in space now. You have a space station, 2 space stations, the Chinese space station and what they deem as the International Space Station up in space. And you're telling me that you cannot reconstitute 1960 technology and blend it or modernize it to get back to where you were 17 times. Man, stop this foolishness. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but as I tell you, I'm not the spoon, I'm not the butter knife, and I'm not the fork. Stop this. You know, I'm not saying that we didn't go to the moon. I'm not saying we did either. All right. Joel says the so-called Van Allen belt or Van Halen belt or whatever is the firmament, just like the Bible said, nothing gets in or out. Huh. That's what they're saying. Let me Google something. Let me go back to what and I'll read more comments in just a second, but let me go back to the AI overview. Okay. I put in, why can't we go back to the moon? And the AI overview says we haven't returned to the moon primarily due to this. Even as the technology has outstripped 1960s technology, which should make the trips more cost efficient. It says due to immense costs, shifting political priorities away from lunar exploration, and the significant technological challenges of establishing a suitable presence, including managing harsh lunar dust and high radiation levels. With current missions like Artemis focusing on long-term infrastructure rather than quick visits. While we have advanced technology, the Apollo era goal was a sprint to beat the Soviets. Today's goals are complex, requiring new, more reliable systems and a different approach than rapid, high-risk missions. So they're trying to, on one hand, admit that radiation is a problem. Lunar dust is a problem. It was a problem then too, wasn't it? Especially with 1960 technology. Right? But listen, they try to obfuscate that, and they try to go around that by saying that, oh, we did that to sprint to the moon. To sprint to the moon. But now we have long-term goals to build up infrastructure. Well, guess what? If you can sprint there, you can just drop off the necessary equipment to then come back there to build the infrastructure that you're talking about. Right? If you can sprint there 17 times or 11 times or 13 times, think about how much equipment you would be able to take in the most modern rockets today, and especially when compared to all of the stuff that you supposedly took in the little bottle rocket, the little tuna can. In the tuna can, you had astronauts, you had cameras, you had a flag, you had a moon rover, one of those doom buggy landers, right? You had other stuff up there, and that was in a tuna can. But with the bigger, more modern rockets, it should be easier for you to sprint there just to drop off loads of needed material to then come back later to build the infrastructure. Common sense tells you that. When construction sites are built, guess what they do? Before they start building the house, guess what construction companies do? They go and survey the land, right? After they survey the land, what do? They order equipment so that the equipment could move whatever supplies they need to the stated location, right? So that they can then bring their crews there to start setting up the infrastructure to build the foundation and to build the building, right? If that's the case and that's how it happens here on Earth, why is it so hard to do that? And you have a degree in astrophysics and you cannot comprehend to do the basics of what it would take to build infrastructure. This is just me talking to you guys. It's just me. Bart has not gotten back with me yet. It's all good. We're still rocking and rolling. And we'll have him back on the program. He'll hit me up and say, hey, my bad. I made a mistake by scheduling, blah, blah, blah. And we'll reset it. Okay. And when we do, it'll say redo or part 2. Okay. The redo. It says, Feilu says, hence the cost to the moon, to go to the moon should not have even been a factor, since it is the perfect opportunity to demonstrate the Western tech superiority, great for promoting its hard power and soft power. That is absolutely what I'm trying to get to. He gets it. Feilu gets it. The cost. If you can allocate $1 trillion to a war budget and you want to keep technological supremacy, why wouldn't you allocate the money to get there? Because Russia and China are. Huh? Are you falling behind technologically and you don't want anyone to know it? And curious minds wants to know. They want to know. So let's go back to this. It says, and we'll pass the video. I'm not going to even play the video. It says, key reasons for the gap. Okay. Key reasons for the gap: cost and politics. That's number one. The Apollo program was incredibly expensive, billions in today's money. And once the Cold War goal was achieved, funding and political will wane. Does that make sense to you guys? Huh? When you have an absolute lead, what do? You consolidate that lead, right? So that you can then demonstrate to the world that your technology and your way of living and your system brought about this great change in history. And therefore, you would not need to use war to demonstrate the significance of your politics and your political system and your educational system. People would see that and they will flock to it. All right. And if you have better technology should then decrease the cost of what you were doing in the 60s on a tin can. All right. I'm asking. Number 2, shifting goals. Apollo was about beating the Soviets. So it's not about beating the Russians. It's not about beating the Chinese. It's not about beating the Iranians. It's not about beating BRICS. It says modern efforts like Artemis aim for permanent lunar bases, requiring far more complex and sustainable infrastructure than a brief visit. Again, I just explained to you. If you want to set up a sustainable infrastructure, what must you do? You must then first get the building equipment to the area, which would, to me, would make more sense to do quick, right? Quick shots to the moon like they said they did, to drop off the needed and necessary components that you would use to construct the infrastructure needed to support your civilization or your stay there and being able to transport back and forth. To me, I mean, common sense tells me that, right? Maybe, like I said, common sense is not so common today. Joel says, they betrayed Maduro just to become America's. Yeah, they betrayed him. Yeah, they will. And we're gonna talk about that in the next show in about 30 minutes too, with Larry Wilkerson. All right. So y'all gotta come back with Larry Wilkerson in about, let's see what time it is. It's almost 10 o'clock my time. And so Larry Wilkerson will be with me at 10:30. Okay. So let's see. Region 9 says Moon was yesterday. We going to Mars, bigger black budget. Man, they're not going nowhere. Yeah, you can track people on Earth. You can pinpoint a penny on the ground from space. And you're telling me that you can't pinpoint a better trajectory to get to the moon? Huh? Man. With today's satellites and technology, we have artificial intelligence. We have humanoid robots, the things that back in the days when I was watching TV, what was it? Battlestar Galactica and Space 19 and all of the Star Trek and all of this stuff. Today we have a lot of that stuff. And you can't go back to a place that you went to multiple times on a tin can with a bullet up under it. And what's crazy about it is, when they return, they did not have to use the bullet for the tin can to return. They had to use the bullet to shoot it up, the missile to shoot it up to space. But then the landing gear just took off. No fire up under it. Look at it. Go look at the pictures. No fire coming out. Just like it was pulled up. There was no lunar dust going everywhere. Just a perfect picture. And the man who was holding the camera got left behind. Think about those things, right? Man, that's crazy as all don't what. This is funny right here. Little bugs, we leave our it everywhere. LOL, absolutely. Let's see. DHS has been allocated a pretty big budget with the big beautiful bill. LOL. Man, listen. These people, let me finish this real quick. Let me finish reading this real quick. Get these points out the way. And then listen what it says. Now, mind you, we got there quickly with 1960 technology. This is number 3 here. Technological hurdles. While tech improved building systems for long duration stays, handling abrasive lunar dust, and mitigating radiation are major challenges. Why weren't those things major challenges then? Huh? Remember, they played golf on the moon. They were not concerned with radiation dust because when you swung it, you kick up dust, right? And that dust has been hit by all kinds of nuclear explosions and asteroids that left it almost like it was detonated by a nuclear bomb. So they have to deal with that radiation on the moon. That abrasive dust that they're talking about, they were not concerned about that when they went up there on a tin can to play golf. They did not think about mitigating the radiation in the Van Allen belt or Van Halen belt or whatever you want to call it. But now today with better technology, this is one of the primary hurdles. Man, stop this. Man, stop it. Stop this. Just stop it. Let's go a little further. See, with my show, you're going to get common sense. You're going to get rational thinking. We do this to provoke thought because nowadays the world has become lazy thinkers because everything is made to come right to them. I heard one time somebody say, well, why don't you put such and such on the screen? And I started giggling. I said, man, I just told you where to look. I just gave you the key words. You can't put it up on your screen. See, that's because we have become lazy. I'm going to force you to think, because that is the only way that you can create a new paradigm, by using that gray matter up there for yourself and not letting everybody else put one over on you. So look, let's go back to this. Number 4. Increased risk aversion. After disasters like Challenger and Columbia, safety standards are far stricter, making missions longer and more costly to test. Well, how is that when technology has become better? Huh? So you can call, Richard Nixon can sit in the White House and pick up a landline. Google this and go look. And pick up a landline and call the astronauts in space as if they had a landline to talk on. And the technology is better today, but you can't replicate it. You can't enhance it. You enhanced your missiles from 1960 to today. You enhanced your submarines. You enhanced your warships, your destroyers, your helicopters, your defense infrastructure. You've enhanced all of this stuff, but you cannot enhance a bottle rocket, literally, with a tin can on it. Man, if you don't stop this foolishness, stop it. Just stop it. And it says, after disasters like Challenger and Columbia, but there are people who have shown that they believe that some of the astronauts are alive. And if you go Google this, these people look exactly the same and have almost exactly the same names. And they, the people who supposedly died in the explosions or whatever, Google this stuff. I'm telling you, it's right at your tips, the fingertips. Some of these people that were supposedly killed are still alive. Some of them are even professors at college. And when they were confronted about the pictures, they got offensive and they tried to dip out on the people before the people could really hold conversations. Go Google this stuff. It's a whole lot of this. So, it's crazy. Can you hear me now? I get the reference. Can you hear me now? From the commercial that it used to have. I get that. Region 9 says Challenger. Yeah, Challenger. The one that supposed to exploded. They found every last one of those people that were supposed to die. They had a chart. A guy presented it before a council, and they threw him out because he was saying, "Listen, look at the picture. Look at." He did comparison studies of everything, and then the names and everything. And the council was so afraid they threw him out because he was saying, "Listen, these people are not dead. That was for show. That did not take place." And this guy was dead, and you could tell that he was sincere in what he was saying. Go Google this stuff. And seriously, I'm not conspiracy theorist. I'm telling you what to do. You don't have to believe this stuff. I'm saying just go look at it. And so look, it says number 5, loss of expertise. Man, stop this right here. You have better scientists that are more knowledgeable, that have looked further into the depths of space, right? And have acquired more expertise in astrophysics. And you say loss of expertise. And your technology today is better. Your engineering is better. Your technicians are better. And you say loss of expertise. And then you say many engineers and technicians from the Apollo era have retired. And crucial historical knowledge isn't always well documented, forcing modern teams to relearn processes. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Huh? So, and I want you to think about this, because a lot of the times before they do certain things, they carry out test runs in the desert or underwater or something. Astronauts actually train underwater too. So check this out. You have a problem with a life support system, right? But you have nuclear reactors and submarines where the submarine could essentially stay submerged underwater indefinitely. And that was the reason they got those propulsion systems, that technology is because they were doing tests so that they can have it for space. And you cannot translate that to your spaceships, but you can go to space and stay up there for months in the space station. But life support system has a problem. Man, stop this. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. I was born at night, just not last night. I did not fall off a turnip truck. You cannot just tell me anything and I'm going to go for the okie doke. That's not how things are. That's not how things are. Listen, we've been up here for an hour 6 minutes. I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm pretty sure we'll be doing a show with Bart coming up because he didn't make it his schedule. I guess a schedule and problem. I got to get prepared for Larry Wilkerson to come onto the platform. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me. Hit the like button, please. Listen and check your subscription because I'm gaining more viewers. I'm gaining more subscribers. And then when I go back to the YouTube platform, I've lost more than I've gained every time. And I know it's not you because people are telling me they're being unsubscribed. They're not getting the notifications and everything. So I understand why they're doing this. But I'm saying you can help the channel out, okay? And by checking your subscriptions and checking your notification button and also word of mouth. Tell everybody about the platform. We have the same guests as Judge Knapp. We have, as a matter of fact, let me tell you something. Dimitri Lascaris, I'll have him Wednesday. All right. You see how popular he is. He was first on my show. You see Alex Craner, he was first on my show. Gregory Matarino came on my show first, the little small show. So this is your favorite channel's favorite channel. A lot of these guys went on to become very well known on the internet after being on this platform. Other shows got them. Go look at the history, the chronological history of it. Seriously. And a lot of them thank me. As a matter of fact, and I shouldn't say this publicly, but my good friend, KJ Noah, said that I was the best interviewer out of everybody. Okay? I shouldn't say that, but I have to say things like this to let you know this show is recognized. When I had Salim Mansour on, he said, yes, I've heard about your show. He said, I talked to Larry Johnson, and Larry had nothing but good words to say about you. So, and he says, Larry says, Rashid stands on his principles. He doesn't care. So when people say that about you, that says something about you. I want you all to help the platform grow. We got to beat this algorithm. They're killing me with this algorithm, suspending my shows, suspending my my interviews and all of this stuff. Please help me. So I've even had Region 9. I've had Tom Luongo on the show multiple times. I see you in the chat. I had him on. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, as my brother says right here. I'm going to keep bringing you the truth. So I'm going to get ready for the next show. I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me your time because you did not have to spend your time with me. Join me back here in about 15, 20 minutes. We're going to have Larry Wilkerson, former Chief of Staff for Colin Powell, and I worked in the Pentagon. So we're going to talk to him about a whole range of issues from the Trump White House and what's going on to what's going on in the Middle East and on the Russian front and what America's trying to do with China or whatever. So we're going to have him on, and I want to thank you all for joining me on the most powerful platform for truth, Bardon on God's green earth. Remember, this little channel is your favorite channel's favorite channel. Okay? Always remember that. To do right by others, not because there's some accolade or recognition or pat on the back, but do right by others because it's the right, the humane, and the godly thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching you, remember, God Almighty is watching you. And as my late, great, beautiful, and excellent mother would always say, God sits high on the throne of power, but he looks low at the actions of man. Know that I love each and every one of you who loves truth, but know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that the divine supreme being, God, the true and living God of freedom, justice, and equality has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true. But above all things, remember this one thing above all, to stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy still loves you more than life. Deuces, everybody. Thank you all for joining me. Peace. We're out of here.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a